Najeela the Blade Blossom versus Nicol Bolas the Ravager. We're going to keep this hand. I'm not sure how quickly we want to play this. Luckily we're on the draw so we can see what our opponent does first. Okay, they're going for a Rakdos land which switches on our Reflecting Pool. I think what I'd quite like to go for then is that Oketra's Monument that we just drew into. So why don't we go for that? We can get some extra warrior tokens with this. And a red land and mana crypt is about as good as you can ever hope for. Why is that not tapping for mana? Oh, it's not opponent's control. I'm thinking of... Alright, fair enough. Yeah, I did that completely wrong. We can do it this way instead so it doesn't actually matter. I'm thinking of the Exotic Orchard that taps for mana that your opponent controls. Obviously, Reflecting Pool actually adds 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. We don't control any mana producing lands currently, so we'll just have to do it that way instead. We can go for... Yeah, we can go for a red source off of this and then go for Najeela and Vampire Lacerator. So that is a play we can make. Our opponent does of course have blue mana up now. So we'll have to see. Okay, well the Badlands does it as well. I'll play the Badlands first because we don't necessarily know what we want to get with the Marsh Flats. And we'll get Vampire Lacerator, and that will of course grab us a warrior token as well. Oketra's Monument is a criminally underplayed card. Really good. I use it in Teysa Orzhov Scion. And now we'll just go for Najeela and see if our opponent has counter magic. Worst case scenario they do and we just have to replay it next turn. But we do at least get a warrior out of the deal with that. About as fast a start as we can ever hope for. And I think next turn we go for white and green and we can hold up Heroic Intervention. Just have to hope our opponent doesn't have a Toxic Deluge here. But we can recast Najeela another 2 times actually once we make another land drop. So as slow as that would be, we are at least getting tokens from the Oketra's Monument. Don't care about Ashiok. They did clear the Brutal Horde Chief off the top of our library. We take 1 damage from the Vampire Lacerator until our opponent is below 10 life. That was the theme of the vampires in the original Zendikar set, was to get you below 10 as soon as they could. This thing, 1 mana, any colour of your colour's identity. I think this thing will make it so that Reflecting Pool can tap for green. It certainly does. That means we can produce Wooburg off the Reflecting Pool now, so we'll get the tap land in while we still can. And yeah, we'll just swing in. We will of course get 4 tokens here. I'm not going to bother going at Ashiok. Actually, do we want to go in at Ashiok? We can swing in at our opponent and then the tokens that come in can swing at Ashiok. So we'll go for Ashiok with that one and that one. Yeah, because for -X they can put out a creature that they've exiled, so they might just go for the -1 and kill their own Ashiok next turn and get down a Birds of Paradise, especially if they're struggling on mana. We can survive a board wipe if it is destruction based. And if our opponent doesn't get into another land, I think it's worth them going in for... Okay, they get Shizo down. I think it is worth them going for the Birds of Paradise, considering we're going to be able to kill Ashiok next turn. It looks like they're hunting for something. Why don't we go over our opponent's commander really quick. This is a flying 4/4 in Grixis. 4 mana. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. And then for 7 mana, exile Nicol Bolas, return it in transformed under its owner's control. You can only do that as a sorcery. They opt not to kill Ashiok. When Nicol Bolas is flipped over into the Arisen, +2, draw 2 cards, -3, 10 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and -4 is put a target creature or planeswalker from the graveyard onto the field, and then -2, exile all but the bottom card of a target player's library, and it does flip over with 7 loyalty as well, so really, really good card. And if it ever comes down in price, which I think it will once it comes out of standard, I'm hoping to make a deck out of it. Alright, what have we got? We can go for white, and we'll get Arishin the Foremost out. And this will give something... Oh, and I overtap for that because of course it does make white creatures cost less. So tap down the Soul Ring for no reason there. And we'll get down the Marsh Flats. Yep, we scry Cathar's Crusade. I think we can have that on top. And then this can give Najeela double strike. This thing is a 2/2 double striker for 3 mana, but when it enters or when it attacks, it gives another warrior double strike till the end of the turn. Okay, Dismember on that. Yeah, well, Heroic Intervention wouldn't have helped that anyway. Not to worry, we still have a lot of power to swing in with. We're just going to have to... Yeah, we're going to have to hold up Heroic Intervention. We could have replayed Najeela there, but then we wouldn't have been able to hold up the Heroic Intervention. So we'll just go in at our opponent. That is 4, 6, 8. And then next turn, I think we'll be able to get down Najeela and go in for an alpha swing on our opponent. Should be able to do at least 15 damage to them. And if they go for a board wipe here, we can of course Heroic Intervention. That is permanents we control, gain hexproof and indestructible till the end of the turn. They are continuing to exile our library with Ashiok. What have they got from us? The Cathar's Crusade was on top, of course. Enlightened Tutor, a few lands, Assassin's Trophy and Abrupt Decay stuck together, strangely enough. And then just these few creatures. So not having the best of luck with that Ashiok. But they might have done that just because we scryed something onto the top. Okay. They may just be holding up counter magic here. Which isn't the end of the world for us because... Ooh, Mana Vault is quite nice actually. When we get down our land for the turn, we can go Mana Vault. And we might as well tap that down to get Najeela out again. This will cost 5. So that's 4 and 5. See if they want to counter Najeela here. We do of course get another warrior from that for casting a creature. And then we'll go into combat, and if they want to use a destruction spell on Najeela, then we will use our Heroic Intervention in order to push the damage through. Unfortunately, Dismember will... Yeah, we can still give it hexproof. So we'll allow them to spend the mana on a Snapcaster Mage into Dismember. They might just tap out here, either that or they help us along by paying some life, so we'll allow them to do this. before we get into our heroic intervention. They do decide to do it that way, so we will go like that. And that will give all our stuff hexproof. And then Dismember will fizzle. And we can swing in for lethal this turn. Yep, and the opponent sees that. We would have swung in for 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, actually, that would be 4 from each of those. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 30. Block one of them, around 26 points of damage, something like that, after the tokens come in and attack. So, yeah, as we saw on the Atraxa game yesterday, you really need a board wipe against Najeela, and I do have a few answers against that, but we do, of course, need them in hand. But the Atraxa opponent was lucky enough to have plenty of board wipes, or not necessarily lucky. I imagine a Super Friends Atraxa deck has plenty of board wipes in hand, but unluckily for our opponent, they didn't seem to have any this game, so we managed to get out the win. Najeela the Blade Blossom, hope you're enjoying it so far, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.